Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about the brand new free-to-play Modern Warfare Warzone Battle Royale. One criticism that I have right off the bat is that that is a very long and confusing name, with the Modern Warfare brand, the Warzone brand, Battle Warfare, Battle Royale is a sub-brand under that. I have no idea what the branding plan is for this one. I think what they want is for Warzone to be considered its own Call of Duty thing, somewhat separate from Modern Warfare, kind of like how Blackout is from Black Ops 4 multiplayer. They share the same items, equipment, and characters, but one is roughly standalone from the other, and with this one being free to play, that definitely makes a lot more sense. I just wish the name was a little bit more consistent. It's like they hired Team Xbox to come up with the name. Today's video is going to be a mix of criticism and praise, so kind of like, you know, a review, and I wanted to start off with some criticism, or at least some lingering concerns about the Killstreaks. Like the title suggests, Killstreaks are a part of this Battle Royale experience. You can earn them a couple of different ways, which I talked about in the previous video, and when I first heard this, and when I first used them, I was very excited. This was really hype. It brought me back to like COD 4 when the first time I called in an AC-130, because now I can use streaks in a Battle Royale game, where it really matters, where you can really rack up those kills. You know, we're getting a 20-kill game is a big accomplishment, and it felt really cool, and satisfying to earn up enough money to buy them. But then I realized that as the game matures and people get better, more and more people will have streaks, and more people are going to know how to use them. Day one, people are going to be popping them off like crazy just to kind of see what they do. But not only that, they're going to save them for late game once they actually get good. Once they get bored of just trying things out, they're going to be saving these for late game. And I am legitimately scared. This is my number one criticism and fear, is that Warzone Battle Royale is going to turn into a late game carpet bombing match. When you get into that tiny circle, you're going to run into UAV spam so everybody knows where you're at, and there's just endless precision airstrikes and bombs coming in, and there's going to be this tiny little area, nowhere to hide, and the whole map blows up. I don't know. That's kind of scary to me. Offhand, I don't think that the trophy system or EOD can protect you from either of the two lethal streaks that are in the game, so that's kind of a concern. I guess I have to test that out. And, you know, it doesn't actually bother me getting killed by streaks mid-game, because there's the gulag system, there's buybacks, there's small losses, I'm not out that much, there's a lot of opportunity to reposition, and, you know, I've got a lot of warning, so if I get hit by a streak, it's my fault. But getting into a final circle, especially one in, say, a forest or a small field where there's very limited cover and very little vertical cover as well, and running into a team that all have 3 cluster strikes and they light up the entire safe area so there's not 1 square inch of the map you can walk on that's not exploding, doesn't sound very fun to me. As a matter of fact, I think that would suck all the fun out of this Battle Royale experience, and my best suggestion to fix it would be to disable streaks after circle number whatever. Like, once the circle hits a certain size, the helicopter pilot calls in, is like, oh, gas visibility is too bad, can't see what's aiming, no streaks. Or number whatever people alive, so you can't just get pounded by this late game. That way you would have to use your streaks to get to late game, but getting to late game with streaks wouldn't be a guaranteed win. So that's my biggest criticism, that's my number one concern. I hope that I'm just wrong and they've play tested and that this will be fine and I'm just being a whiner. But there are a few other criticisms that I have about equipment, primarily. I'm going to talk about that before I move into the good stuff, of which there is quite a lot, I assure you. I know COD fans are just very, what's the word, passionate, and they like to get the negativity out of the way first. I'm a little bit concerned with how specialist equipment and gas masks are going to be used. I love the idea overall, the tactical advantage of having an ammo box to resupply your team, to have barriers that you can put down for cover in really bad situations, or even just for trapping people and killing them to gas would be kind of funny. Trophy systems are incredibly tactical. EMP drones are godly for taking out equipment, like people will camp with claymores and stuff, and just generally getting vision. There's a ton of ways to play and be smart with all of these items that don't seem unfair. They all have very reasonable counters, and none of them are major game changers, well, by themselves. However, dead silence spooks me a little bit because Battle Royale is extremely audio dependent. Having dead silence is like having invisibility in the final circle. Like, you want to hear those footsteps all the time. However, I do have to admit, dead silence was in Blackout, and I made do with it just fine, and it wasn't that bad. But Blackout was a little bit goofier and a little bit more health heavy than this, so I think it wouldn't be quite as punishing. What I'm worried about is enemies that are just going to walk right up behind find me without making a sound and murder me and get an execution, and I just won't have, there won't be any counterplay to it, except for the fact that it doesn't last very long and it's hard to find. You don't get many dead silences in it. They don't recharge. You have to scavenge them, and they don't last very long at all. So whoever uses it has to use it more tactically. But the big one, the big bad boy, the one that really scares me, is the same one that scared me with multiplayer, and that's stopping power. I mean, stopping power literally doubles the damage of your guns for some number of rounds. For most of them, it's like 30 rounds, you just get one mag, but shotguns and LMGs have slightly different numbers. So imagine you've got full armor, you are fully kitted, your health is great, and there's this other team that's like stuck in the gas, and you know that they have to run through, and you're getting ready to ambush them, and some guy comes out of the gas, you know, with his health sucking and his armor not doing great, and you go to shoot him, and he just lights your world up and drops you instantly in 2 or 3 stopping power headshots, and you are donezo. And that's a guaranteed loss. If the person that you're fighting has any skill whatsoever, you are gonna lose to stopping power. You pretty much can't out-trade that because it'll kill you so incredibly quickly. And it's another thing that I don't want to deal with in the final circle. I don't want to play a realistic tactical battle royale game and get to the final circle and have to fight a guy who's just got like double damage like a Quake power-up. That would literally piss me off. So that is my other really, really big concern in this category, and a minor one is the gas mask. While the gas mask is a legendary item, it's really rare, and I think it's generally a cool idea because the gas mask effectively allows you to stay in the gas for 15 seconds before it breaks. It doesn't recharge either, so you've got 15 total seconds of gas time. It's a very rare item, and the idea behind it is if you're like stuck in a bad circle where you can either run into fire and just get hosed, or you can't go around the gas because you'll just die. You can put on the gas mask and buy yourself just enough time to make that back flank and go around. I think it's a cool idea. It's not the worst. I just know that it's not something that I'm going to be used to, so I have to see how it pans out and have to see how tilty it can get. After 7.5 minutes of complaints, let's finally talk about some good stuff, shall we? Because there's a lot of good stuff. I'm going to start off with the map. The map size is gigantic in scale. It is truly epically huge and has lots of classic Modern Warfare locations as well. I've seen Overgrown, Burger Town, Vacant, Backlot, there's all the multiplayer maps, there's all these little Easter eggs, there's a racetrack, there's all this cool stuff on the map, and I think it's most comparable in scale to the PUBG map. Now PUBG is 144 square kilometers or 12 by 12, and I think that this map is probably closer to about 90 square kilometers, maybe 80, so somewhere just a little bit bigger than half the total size of the PUBG map, so it's got less land area, but it has an extremely high density of buildings, tunnels, urban areas, and interior spaces. There's just a lot of stuff to explore, a lot of density, a lot of climbing, a lot of unique interactions going on, and there's a lot of variety in this particular map too. You have forest, snow, you have fancy urban, decrepit urban, dam, racetrack, train tracks, farm, airport, hospital, docks by the seaside, and all sorts of little Easter egg locations. Prison gulag for one of them. You can actually go to the gulag and fight there, not just when you're dead, but just in general, you can go above ground. So there's going to be a lot of unique fights on this map, and it's got a lot of different terrain. It's even got some like Russian-y, deserty kind of parts to it. So there's going to be unique looks and variety and unique fights and a lot of great stuff going on with this map. I think the map is fantastic. I also generally like the tone of this mode. I think it is more serious than Blackout, but less serious than PUBG. It kind of fits nicely between the two. It has a nice military feel to it, and it has some goofier, crazier kind of stuff and some gamey mechanics, but it doesn't go all the way into Fortnite Town with just being silly, or Blackout got increasingly silly over time. It's not a detriment. I still think Blackout's a fantastic mode, and I enjoy its silliness, but this one's a little bit more serious. The gunplay in Warzone is very solid despite the increased health. That was another big concern that I had, is that people would eat bullets and tank and not die. And in my playtime, I didn't really have that experience. Yes, it took longer to kill people, but it wasn't unreasonable. I think that's because this is all based on the multiplayer gunplay. Multiplayer gunplay has always been great in this game. It's been one of the strongest attributes of this game, and it's been a little bit on the faster side of time to kill, and your health in this mode is a little bit lower than it would be in other BR modes, so it feels a little bit more like multiplayer gunplay, maybe with the health turned up a bit. I think it's nice that shotguns are powerful. Pro tip, shotguns are really powerful in the last circle, especially that R90. They might need some slight tuning because they might be a little too powerful, but it's nice that they're useful. I like how all of the big boy sniper rifles in the game one shot to the head. That was a conversation I had with the devs, and they kind of went around and back and forth, and they were like, well, we don't want, you know, people to get tilted and die instantly, but we need the 50 caliber to be rewarding, and they kind of defaulted on that the big sniper rifle should just one shot kill to the head, because even if you have a helmet, that's gonna kill you in real life. It's just gonna break your neck. So that seemed fair. I liked that. I like how choosing attachments for Battle Royale is very different than multiplayer. You've got an entirely different set of priorities that's quite fun. I think the armor system is in a good place on launch. I don't think it's perfect. I think, God, they've already improved it since the first time I played it, and I don't know what, you know, little Timmy No Thumbs and little Cammy Camper are going to do when they get home, but I think it's in a much better spot than Blackout was when it launched. And finally, I think that given all of this, I think I'm just thinking, I think. That's what this commentary is today. Warzone Battle Royale should really reward people who are good at gunfights. And I think that's how it should be. In Warzone, when you win a gunfight, you get money, armor, ammo, loot, all sorts of great stuff, and you advance toward challenges and completions and more cash. And the more you fight and the more you kill, the better off you are, actually. I mean, yeah, you can be overly aggressive and take stupid fights, but the guy that camped and just sits there and does nothing is going to have utterly terrible loot at the end that will not compete with the squad that killed a bunch of people, all had $10,000 and decked out with self-revives and streaks and stuff. Currently satisfied with the vehicle selection. I maybe missed boats a little bit, but not too much. Fish in the water matches in BR was kind of annoying, but they've got ATVs, cars, trucks, helicopters, all sorts of stuff. There's no shortage of vehicles. My overall favorite thing about this mode, what I think really elevates it more than any of this other stuff, is that it has a great system for casual players to keep going after death. Too many Battle Royale games, especially of the first generation ones, you know, you had your PUBGs and your Fortnites and your, what H1Z1 and stuff like that, would get very boring when you die in the beginning and you have to watch your teammates just bumble around and wait for them to die because they're playing a man down. Or even when you're playing Apex and you're down and somebody picks up your banner and then you have to watch them for 10 minutes not rezzing you because they just don't feel like it. So having some casual respawning mechanics like the gulag system is a nice insurance policy against bad drops. Did you land in a hot zone and just literally not get a gun? That doesn't make you a bad player, that's you getting unlucky. Did your parachute bug out and you just slammed into the ground? Did you get hit by a car accidentally? Did something stupid happen early game that by the nature of Battle Royales being random punished you for its randomness and did not reward your skill? Well, if you're good, you'll be out of the gulag in no time. As long as you've gotten good and you win that 1v1 in the gulag, you will come back to life and get a second chance. Being able to easily buy back teammates keeps you invested in watching your team and working with friends and sharing money. While I played, it was nice to be dead, but not totally out. And I predict that casual players are really gonna take to this system. I think that they're gonna feel like they can play this Battle Royale for longer because they're punished less for early game mistakes. And I don't think sweats are gonna be hurt by this either. You guys are saying, well, that's unfair. I don't really think so. Honestly, the better players benefit more from this system because they're gonna kill more people and they're gonna have more cash to buy back and get, you know, little insurance policies, self-revives. If they do die and go to the gulag, if they're a good player, the odds are going to be in their favor of getting out of the gulag versus the random idiot that accidentally jumped off a building and killed himself. And on top of that, the players that play well through all of this are going to finish the game with just a lot more kills. I think you're going to see some crazy, like 60 kill games in this mode. It's going to be really absurd. And I think that this system, more than anything else I've discussed today, is what's really going to carry Warzone forward. The gas is designed well, in my opinion. I like that it is painful and visually disruptive. I'd personally make it somewhat more visually disruptive just because I hate getting shot from the gas, but it's a fantastic start. The tactical and lethal system is well adapted to Battle Royale. It can get a little bit annoying to be C4'd, but every BR game I've ever played had grenades, and sometimes people just throw good nades at you. Though, pro tip guys, Smoke grenades, heartbeat sensors, and those little see-through wall scanning grenades are way more meta than they used to be, especially that heartbeat sensor. That heartbeat sensor is pretty god tier in the right situations. Just a pro tip. Adding a economy system to the entire game so far seems like a good idea to me. It's a lot like Fortnite's vending machines or Radical Heights vending machines, but having something to do, always having the ability to make more money, to earn more money, to complete a challenge, to loot more stuff, so that you can buy more nice things for your team, keeps you invested, because good players just have a tendency to get bored and go on a murder streak, but if there's nobody near them, they'll just get bored and quit, or just be bored because they don't want to lose. Sweaties don't tend to want to lose. But this helps you, it's a little insurance against boredom, because you can always do something to improve your team's odds of survival. And if you camp really hard, you're not going to have enough money to buy good loot to win the game. My overall opinion of this game mode is extremely positive. I had a lot of fun playing this Battle Royale. I really did. This is one of my best capture sessions in a long time. I really took to this mode. I think my gameplay was fantastic. It's very clearly reflected here. I think a lot of very, very positive things about this mode. I love that it's going to be free to play. I think that is one of the strongest selling points of this. Even if I'm totally wrong and my opinion just sucks and the game is even mediocre or even on the bad side, guys, it's free. It's literally free to play. You don't even have to own Modern Warfare to have it. It has its own separate install. And free to play is just the way to go with gaming these days. I would like to give this mode about an 8 out of 10. I'm probably going to say that over successive patches and balancing and stuff, it's going to go up from 8 out of 10. But if they launch what I played with, it should be an 8 out of 10 BR just right out of the gate, just in beta, already good to go. It should be very, very fun. And I like this mode enough to where I'm currently planning to basically convert this channel into mostly covering Call of Duty Warzone and the Battle Royale mode. I think that is going to get a lot of attention. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in it. I'm personally much more interested in COD multiplayer. I have played out. I've played it way too much. I'm going to be taking a break from that for a while and do something new. And I think that all of you watching this video, even if you don't own Modern Warfare, I know that many of you don't at this point, you should download it. It's literally free. Check it out. I think you'll have a good time. Guys, that is all for this episode of In-Depth. Wait, this isn't In-Depth. This is just a regular video. That's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.